like to a certain point, I think it's just like, yeah, I'd love to have Malcolm Butler stick around. Yeah, I'd love to have Darrelle Revis. Like and you can understand it. He develops relationships with these players. He probably liked having Darrelle Revis around a lot. There was a report, last week before, something like that. Jason LaCanfora said that NFL teams believe strongly that Darrelle Revis will be back. I don't know. We'll see. That seems like I guess I won't say that. Yeah, I mean, maybe. It doesn't seem that likely for as long as Malcolm Butler's around, but if Malcolm Butler does get traded, Patriots feel like Darrelle Revis could be an option in the slot. Maybe we will see him come in. I'm not sure how he would respond to that.
Do you think he'd be effective?
Maybe. I mean, the slot is interesting. I don't think Revis has his deep speed, so you don't want him covering a guy 40 yards downfield, but in the middle of the field, I think that he could do some damage there. I mean, I don't know how much he'd even be used because the Patriots use Jaron Harmon as their nickel defensive back a lot of the time anyway. So Darrelle Revis might only be on the field for 50% of the time. Or maybe he takes the number 2 role over Eric Rowe. I guess that's a possibility too. But I don't know. We'll see. Seems like no one's in a big rush to sign him, so the Patriots could probably have him for pretty cheap.
Yeah, the one. That's what I was just going to say too. I mean, I honestly don't really think he has much left. From watching him this year, he was a shell of his former self. He wasn't even close to the. Not. I mean, never mind being an elite cornerback. He wasn't even a good cornerback this year. But the fact that the Jets are still paying him like $6 million this year, I think, if he could put his kind of ego to the side, not saying that he does have an ego, but being like willing to take a pretty bargain basement deal, get paid $1 million, $2 million this year. I mean, he's worth taking a flyer on, I guess, if he's agreeing to do that. Because then, worst case, what? I mean, you bring him in for training camp, he sucks, you cut him. I mean, that happens every year with the Patriots and with every other team. So,
how do you guys think that he'd be welcomed in the locker room? Because obviously it was such a story. Every Patriots nation was freaking out about him not coming back, despite what the Patriots offered him. And I just got thinking about the recent news that Rajon Rondo is not inviting Ray Allen to the Celtics 08 title celebration. And the quote that he had was, "We were at war with those guys," meaning the Heat, and you don't sign with a rival or with the enemy, was exactly what he said, implying that Ray Allen was a traitor. If you're a Celtics fan, you obviously remember that whole thing. And I feel like at the time when Revis didn't come back, it felt similar. Of course, then he went on to not have a great season, so it ended up kind of being a blessing in disguise for Patriots fans. But I feel like there's some animosity in terms of the fan base. Would that be the same with players?
I think that NBA teams or NBA players are like a little bit more petty, especially because it's a smaller team. So you have to have a strong relationship with everyone on the team because there's only, 12 or 13, 14, however many basketball players are on the team. I don't know that apparently. Whereas on a football team, so not only do you develop friendships, but you also start to hate some people probably because you have to be around them all the time, and you can't be around 53 guys, you're around 14 guys. So I don't know. I think that a lot of locker room stuff gets a little bit overblown. I think that he'd be welcome enough, and there's only 25, 30 players even left from the team that he was on back in 2014. So it basically depends on whether Tom Brady wants to welcome him back. And I know he said some stuff.
That's who I mean, because the reason I kind of make the connection is that I think that maybe Rondo, and according to Rondo, other players from that team said they don't want him at Allen at the celebration either. And I think that's because they could have possibly won another title had he stayed. It's not unreasonable to think that that could have happened. So now, of course, the Patriots have won another title without Revis, but sort of what if they hadn't, would Brady, you know what I mean? Is Brady going to look at it as like, yo, you left us when we were in good position to win another Super Bowl?
I think two factors kind of mitigate it. One, the fact that Revis was brought here to win a Super Bowl, and that's exactly what he did.
Right.
And the fact that Malcolm Butler just basically filled in the exact role that Darrelle Revis had the next year and spent 2 years in that. Now, we obviously don't know if Butler's coming back or not, but I don't think that's, from a fan base perspective, I don't get the sense that there's a ton of animosity toward Darrelle Revis. I think people just view him as a mercenary. They're like, yeah, we paid him a bunch of money. He came here for 1 year. He did what he had to do. Then he went to take even more money elsewhere. So I don't know how obviously we only get such a small snippet of the actual locker room goings on and the relationships within the team and all that. But I mean, I think if there would be a very big problem, they wouldn't sign him because I think this is a case where he's not gonna be a superstar that's gonna change the team. That they can kind of push personal things aside, I think if they were thinking about signing Darrelle Revis, they'd go to Tom Brady, they'd go to Devin McCourty, Dante Hightower, these leaders on the team, and say, hey, like, is this going to be a problem if we bring? Because it's not worth blowing up a locker room if your third cornerback is kind of a diva. But if they're like, whatever, man, bring him in. He's fine. We know what he's all about. Then I don't think they're going to bring him in if it's going to be a problem.
As far as fans go, I think as soon as he plays well, all will be forgiven. There are some people who say like, no, we don't want him. I think some of that is the perception that he's now terrible, which he's not. Like you said, he's not good, but he's still an average cornerback. I think it was just the fact that he went from being elite to average that seemed like he took this like massive step back, which he did, but he definitely like fell off a cliff. But when you're elite and you fall off a cliff, then you only become average.
Yeah,
so
you're under the magnifying glass too, because he had one or two terrible games. The fact that he got toasted by AJ Green, I believe it was week 2 or 3.
And whoever the Bills, Marquise Goodwin, burned him
he played a couple high-profile games that were very,
it was
very
early
bad.
in the season too that he was
so
bad
everybody
too.
kind of wrote him off. I know I wrote him off.
And I mean, if he really was 17 pounds overweight because of whatever injury he had, if he loses that, then you have to assume that he'll get a little bit better. So we'll see. I mean, I don't know. It's not like signing Stephon Gilmore, but it would be a decent piece to throw into the mix.